Hey Jack, welcome to Međimurje, Croatia. Please introduce yourself briefly. Who is Jack Jennetta and what he's doing in his life and why he is now in Croatia, European Union?
Yes, it's a great question. Thank you, Sinjusha, for having me here. It's a beautiful place to be. I'm Jack Jennetta, and I am originally from Connecticut in the United States, so pretty close to New York, pretty close to Boston, but a small town. And for the last several years, I had been working for the Aldo Leopold Foundation, which you might be familiar with. And while I was there, I became interested in the man-to-human relationship, among many other things, but that's the primary focus. And so after working there for a few years, I decided to get a taste of the man-to-human relationship in other parts of the world, specifically the European Union and beyond. And so I traveled throughout the continent for a few months, and I found myself in Medjimurje for about a month now, 3 weeks. And it's been an incredible learning experience and being exposed to all these different types of land ethics, as Aldo Leopold would say. So yeah.
Did you ever expect to see this county to be so interesting? What was your idea coming to Croatia? What did you expect to find here?
Yes. So I've come to expect the unexpected in every place that I go. I've been in a lot of places in the US and abroad, and each time I'm surprised. But with Croatia, I didn't know much about it at all. You know, you hear things in the news which are always positive. It's a beautiful country. As I was traveling and I told people that I would come here, they said, "Oh, you must go to Krka and Plitvice Lakes," and I said, "Oh, well, you know, I'm not going to either of those places. I'm going to somewhere near Čakovec." And they said, "Where?" And so, yeah. And so I didn't really have anything to expect. And so I knew that I would be going to a friend and a working community that was interested in the same things that I am. And so when you go to a place like that, you find beautiful things. And so
let me explain just briefly. Jack is a resident on Matulov Grunt residency, which is basically for the writers, scientists and explorers from Europe, but also from all over the world, who are willing to come to Međimurje, which is Croatian most northern county, to explore exactly what Jack is doing. Man-to-nature relationship, but more deeply on just this average daily level, because our Matulov Grunt is somehow based also in Aldo Leopold's philosophy of land ethic, and this is exactly the position Jack was doing in America. So you spent a couple of years with Leopold Foundation?
Yes, that's correct.
What was like to work for that pretty strong foundation in the American terms?
Yes, well, it was a really great way to be exposed to regional conservation. A lot of the narrative around conservation is WWF, Sierra Club, these huge international organizations that do a lot of important work. But the Aldo Leopold Foundation taught me how to engage with a community. Really, a real community that's super local, but at the same time has a reach that is global. The Leopold message, as you know, can reach anyone regardless of language, the 17 or 14 that it's translated into, and ones that it has yet to be translated into. Those people and those traditions have a land ethic. But the Leopold Foundation works specifically in the upper Midwest to restore those native landscapes, and that really resonates with that community. And so working with them for 2 years has taught me how to be a humble and generous member of both the ecological community, whichever I'm a part of, in whichever region of the world, but also of the human communities that are sustained by those natural landscapes.
So you are a guest of a public institution for nature protection here in Međimurje County, Croatia, and you landed here in September 2023, which is basically the busiest September that I can ever recall in my 20 years working for this institution. Did you find everything well? I mean, you did everything from a physical job with our horses that we all own grazing the native meadow, to the meeting with the county mayor and some other very important decision makers on the even a national level, or like a parliament member today. Did you find everything formative for you? This trip has been formative for you, I believe, the whole European session. But what about Međimurje? What will you take with yourself as a permanent heritage?
That's a fantastic question. Permanent heritage is always building, I think. And I was thinking about today, you mentioned meeting the Member of Parliament, but today, as I walked around the community event, the Ekokotlik, okay, I gave it a try. But I thought to myself, wow, this is one of the greatest days of my entire life. To be so welcomed and so immersed in this working community that you have shown me, and also this greater Križevec and Čakovec and all of Međimurje. I feel like I've been all over the county and I've seen so many interesting people and places, and so many days in this month have been days that I said, geez, this is one of the best days of my life. And for so many reasons. And you know, you said it's been the busiest September in recent memory. Well, it might be my busiest September of all time.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, when we were little, it was time to go back to school. September was back to school. Now it's like, this is the beginning of a new life for me. Like, I've seen so many, it's hard to really wrap it up in one sentence how important and meaningful this time has been.
You're only 25 now, right?
I am 25, yes. I'll be 26 in 3 months.
3 months, but a lot of experience gained in this last quarter of your 25th circle around the sun.
Yes, it's been great, and this is something I was looking for in this period of time. I had such a... When I think of the most formative times of my life, I do think about the Leopold Foundation and the fellowship program that they have there, which really invests in people who want to be invested in. And I think that type of fellowship and that type of work experience set me up to succeed in a more self-directed international experience, and I found myself here, and you have helped tremendously.
I believe that you left a remarkable mark on the landscape, or not only in Wisconsin, but in the mind of Wisconsin people, because Buddy Halfacre, as executive director of Leopold Foundation, recommended you as somebody who would be like perfect resident for our residency program, and that proves to be well.
Yeah, and that's very humbling. I mean, the day that I left the foundation after 2 years, I was very emotional, and knowing that, and I have a feeling I will be emotional when I leave this residency as well. So wait till 1 week and you might see me cry. Not today though. Not today in front of the camera. It'll be off camera.
It will be all over YouTube, right?
It might be, but you know, it's not very often, really, that you find such meaningful connections. And I think a lot of people, they look for that in many places throughout their life and they don't find it.
Yeah.
And so it's just humbling to have been recommended and to have found that in Wisconsin, and to have again found that here.
Maybe, yeah, this is what we want to achieve with this residency, not to have tourists at all, but to have researchers with open mind who really wants to know more about this region and this relationship, man to nature, man to man. So we have done a lot of nice things during your stay so far, and as you said, still another week in front of you. We climbed Risnjak mountain, which is one of few parks in Croatia that holds bears, lynx and wolves. We did many other things, traveling around. What was your maybe I know it's hard for you to pick one, but so far what was something that really opened your mind, or maybe blow out your mind, seeing, wow, I never knew this? Can you recall?
Well, yeah, that is so.
Above being the member of the jury on the traditional food making today.
yes, that has blown my mind and my stomach.
Okay.
I think that there actually is a rupture, but it is hard to choose one thing, because I have spent about a day now with every member of your staff. That's about 15 people. And I went to a birthday party for 12-year-old Dominic, and we bowled together. And you know, it's something I've done before. I've gone bowling, right? But I've never done that. And I went to my first football match ever with Zoran, and I went on a hike to Ivanica with Ivana. And what's more important than what we did is the way that we did it. And I was just shown such kindness, overwhelming kindness, that I don't know if I'll ever be able to reciprocate to the folks that have showed me it here, but it's something that I will carry for the rest of my life. When someone comes and they want to learn and they want to see what life is like, and if they ask a question, I hope I can provide an answer similar to the one that you and your staff have provided me.
Okay, so the experience in general.
And it's hard, the kindness. I'm overwhelmed by the kindness.
This is something that our people are very proud of, and we also use it as a slogan in tourism industry. And because many other regions in the world are using this same kindness, #kindness, #welcome. But I think you recognize that in a very right way. This is the way these people lived, like in many decades, not just recently, and not just because of a massive tourism or sustainable tourism or whatever tourism this county wants to achieve. But yeah, this is kind of the way that people are treating both, you know, their fellows from the region and the guys from rest of the world. Right. So I'm very glad that you recognize it.
Yeah, and I struggle to see this in my day-to-day when I'm in America. I don't see that there's the same type of neighborliness and generosity, and the way that, you know, people see each other at the store or at an event like today, or just if a stranger came into town, it wouldn't be the same reception.
It's like in the old Western movie. Oh, there is a stranger in the town. Yeah. And by the end of the movie, there is no stranger in the town, or he's at local cemetery, right?
It's just something different. There's a sort of closed offness a little bit in the United States that I have been away from now for 3, 4, 5 months. And
will you be able to return to America as the same man?
Oh, certainly not. No.
Because you came to Europe to build you up.
Yes, absolutely. And I will continue. And I think, you know, I have lived in Asia before, and I have traveled to South America, and I've seen different places in the world, and I had been to Europe 10 years ago. But the experience now has demonstrated the potential that lies outside of my home country. And oftentimes there's this, well, why would I leave the States? It's such a big country, I can go anywhere there. But really, this has shown me that the world really is open to someone who wants.
There is a world beyond America.
Oh, of course, of course. But for me, I can go anywhere, and I can have this type of meaningful relationship and interaction with someone. And so, I think I will have to do that.
You certainly will. Yes. Damn boy, you're getting high on Medjimurje already? It's just 2 o'clock. So one final question, and I asked Buddy that as well when he was here in springtime 2023, is did you recognize land ethic as a live concept here in the Croatia, not only in Međimurje, but we visited Gorski Kotar, which is also very nice and very important part of Croatia, as being lungs of Croatia, many forests, big predators. Do you see, did you recognize, I know 1 month is not huge time, but you know, somebody who used to work for Leopold Foundation and knows the concept and is writing a book about that himself, did you recognize, or, you know, be honest, did you see the other side of the story, something that is totally opposite of land ethic?
Yes. Well, so I think, you know, a land ethic as it's defined, as you know, but for the audience maybe it's when a thing is right when it tends to preserve the integrity, the beauty, and the stability of the biotic community. and it's wrong when it tends otherwise. That's the basis of a land ethic. And so when I think about it in those terms, Leopold's own words, do I see that anywhere? I don't. I struggle to see an entire community, an entire people, an entire county or country truly treating the natural landscape with integrity, beauty, and stability in mind. But when I come to Medjimurje and I see this organization, and I see the surrounding counties in comparison to Medjimurje, I see that there is a growing community and a growing land ethic. I think what we should always be doing is striving to think about nature more in our day-to-day and all of the things that make up nature. But yes, to me, a land ethic is not just about the land, it's about the people. And that's my own, I think, in the last several months and last several years, to me, the most important part of the land ethic is not maybe the most important part, but a critical aspect is the people on the land. And so when I see this as the strongest part of Medjimurje. And if you have a strong and vocal community advocating for a land ethic, like your organization does, then the potential is there and the seeds are sowed. And so
possibility to grow.
And we are always growing, and we are always striving to be better, you know. And that's another Leopoldian sort of mantra. We'll never get all the way there, but the best thing that we can do is try. And so I see that here, and that's the most hopeful thing to see.